Ladies and gentlemen, the Seattle Kraken have done it. Shane Wright has been sent down to the AHL in a move that we all kind of saw coming, but at the same time was so unique and ethereal that we didn't really fully internalize it, or at least I didn't. I don't know about you, but today we're talking about Shane Wright because the guy was indeed sent down to the AHL. This is interesting because normally for players like Shane Wright who are 19 years old and who are drafted out of the CHL, they wouldn't be allowed to get sent down to the AHL this early on in their careers. Now, Wright and the Seattle Kraken, last year they went through hoops and hurdles to get it through and actually make things work, but his path was so distinct and weird that it was something that you couldn't really replicate. NHL time, but very limited, not playing enough games in the NHL to ensure that his contract wouldn't have the first year burnt off. He was sat out for multiple weeks. He got sent down to the AHL. He was called back up to play for the World Juniors, got sent down to the OHL, played in the playoffs over there, and then played in the AHL playoffs once more. The path for Wright was crazy, and we have made so many videos about it. But now, after Ron Francis worked out some sort of deal, he did the thing, he made the negotiations, the CHL agreed, and they said, yeah, okay, fine. We'll let this guy, who had exceptional status to enter our league early in the first place, break one more rule and be an AHL player in 23-24. Now, the outcome has been fulfilled. He's in the AHL, and this is going to be a great piece for his development because I feel like for Shane Wright in the Seattle Kraken preseason, he wasn't too amazing. Sure, he had his moments, he had some good plays. There are always some really interesting things that happens when Shane Wright holds onto the puck in the offensive zone and he decides to use his vision, use his skating, use his passing, and potentially his shot too. He's a very talented player, and we all know this. And we all know that he was too talented for the CHL, but maybe just not talented enough to play NHL minutes right now. What makes this situation even better, though, is how playing for a Seattle Kraken regular NHL team as well as their AHL affiliate, what's awesome about this is that Shane Wright is not going to get absolutely harassed by the media. Firstly, the Kraken and their own crew, they've got a pretty chill, relaxed media sphere over there. It's not like the Canadian markets where, oh yeah, everybody's criticizing Slafkovsky and saying this guy should be sent down, and this and that, why isn't he good? It's not a big money market, one of the most expensive markets in the league, like the New York Rangers, where Alexis Lafreniere is being criticized over and over again. Shane Wright is playing for a pretty low-key Seattle squad that doesn't need him to be amazing right now, which gives him ample time to go down to the AHL, continue what it was that he was doing last year, and hopefully grow those skills that made him such a valuable pickup at 4th overall to the point where he can be an NHL player and finally get that ELC burning off some years. The media is not going to pressure this guy. The Seattle Kraken locals are all right. And what's even better about this situation is that Wright is not going to have that external pressure from outside of Seattle either. He's not a 1st overall guy. He wasn't even 2nd or 3rd overall. This guy dropped to 4. And when you think about it like that, 4th overall pick playing in the NHL right away? Hey, pretty alright. 4th overall pick playing in the OHL again? Okay, that's fine. We've seen that in the past. 4th overall pick playing in the AHL as a 19-year-old? Yeah, that's totally fine. This progress is so much more appropriate for a guy taken 4th overall than 1st overall because we're so used to 1st overall picks coming into the NHL right away and being amazing. Not recently, but the last decade or so. Yakupov, Nugent-Hopkins, Aaron Ekblad, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Nico Hischier, Dahlin, these guys were all great in their first NHL seasons at 18 years old. And because this type of thing had not happened since, you're seeing the pressure being put on Lafreniere. You're seeing the pressure that was put on Jack Hughes in his first few go-arounds before he became the superstar he is today. You saw the pressure placed on Slafkovsky. You saw how people were criticizing Owen Power for not playing in the NHL in his first season. He said he wasn't ready. That's totally fine, but we're not used to that. So for Shane Wright to have this type of pattern be in his development path, it is so much better that he is a 4th overall guy than a 1st overall guy. Because this type of development path is so much more appropriate, and I feel like it's more widely accepted for guys taken, let's say, top 5 rather than top 1. So for Shane Wright heading over to the Coachella Valley Firebirds, actually, he wasn't just sent there by himself, he was sent there alongside of Riker Evans, who has been pretty amazing, honestly. Like, just watching the limited sample of Seattle Kraken preseason footage that I have, Riker Evans is doing some pretty good things on the power play, and he looks pretty good on top of that. Not to mention the few other guys that were sent down on waivers with the purpose of being assigned to Coachella Valley, Dreger, Fleury, and John Hayden. There's a bunch of stuff going on with the Seattle Kraken and their roster, mostly because of the roster cuts that need to be made. And with this, of course, I mean, Shane Wright last year in the AHL, he had 6 points, 8 games played, 9 points in 24 games in the playoffs. I think a lot of Kraken fans are sort of on that fence saying, yeah, it's probably better for this guy to be playing a top-line role in the AHL rather than being a middle to bottom 6 player in the Seattle Kraken team. The Kraken are in no rush to get Wright up to speed and NHL caliber right away, because last year, I mean, take a look at the guys that they had producing. Jared McCann, 70 points. Eberle, 60 points. Beniers was a great player in his rookie season, almost 60 points himself. And then you take a look at who's coming back. You still have most of these guys at your disposal. You got the energy, hardworking guys like the Brandon Tanevs out there. Very respectable names like Jaden Schwartz, Oliver Bjorkstrand. There are a lot of good names on this team. And for Shane Wright to try to best any of these guys right now, I mean, it's not really appropriate. He could if he was good enough, but he's just not there yet, and that's fine. 4th overall pick, you don't need to rush this guy. So, for the Coachella Valley Firebirds, you guys have been done a solid by Ron Francis to negotiate this deal with the CHL. You could say that this was probably the necessary move anyway, because the guy was an exceptional status player in the CHL, and he played the near necessary amount of games last season to fulfill a full season, but he did not. Also, there was the COVID year where he didn't play, so everything was kind of stacked against right from the beginning. But Ron Francis negotiating with these CHL folk and saying, look, come on. Like, really? That's all that it took. Of course, that's probably not how the negotiation went. It's probably a lot more complex than that, but still, that, in essence, is what happened. Shane Wright was so close to being AHL eligible already, but so many factors took away that, so now he had to get the negotiating done on behalf of his career by Ron Francis, but it worked. He's in the AHL, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did I just make an 8-minute video talking about Shane Wright getting sent down? Yes, I did, but I do think that this is the penultimate conclusion to the development path of Shane Wright. After this, it's just gonna be NHL time. NHL stardom. Hopefully he's an NHL regular in 24-25, and hopefully by 25-26 he is good. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Shane Wright getting sent down to the A. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.